Alright, so today we're going to break down the back. I want to get into fine detail about what I do to set myself up for a back workout. Before, I've just done videos of me just showing you a gorilla muscling some weights, and I don't want to do that. I want to actually show you guys what we should be doing today. So to start off, people move faster than they think. And what I mean by that is a lot of people just get in and just start moving the weight instead of actually breaking down each individual step. For example, if you're going to do a squat, you're going to plant your feet, you're going to brace yourself. You're going to just start in little movements, little increments before you even get one repetition. And then when you do the repetition, you're going to control it, the whole motion. So we'll start off with, alright, so here, we're working on the lat here. The way I would like to set up here, you're going to go into a wider grip. Normally there's a bend in the bar here, that's where I like to locate my thumb, and then I grip my hand around the rest of it. And then from there, I like to keep my elbows flared inward, maybe at like a 45-degree angle. So instead of being way out here, you're not really going to be working much of the lat. You want to bring your elbows in, and you're going to pull up. While you're doing this, you want to find that sweet spot. So wherever that angle is and wherever you can pull, and you feel this engaged the whole entire time. So that means you're staying locked onto that muscle, and then you just keep it tight the whole motion. If you get too loose, if you let all the way up, you're going to lose that tension. So you want to come a little bit further down, feel that tension, and then just work within that motion.
People who have questions probably gonna wonder what's the difference between like the gripping inwards or outer more.
Okay, so this neutral grip here, meaning your hands are in a neutral position, what that's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to drive the elbows closer to your body, which is going to allow a nice tighter squeeze at the lower portion of the back and lat. Now, when you do an overhand grip, you're going to be hitting, you could hit the lower, but you'll also be hitting mid and upper. And then the wider you go also allows you to hit more of that upper outer. But it's also depending on your physique, your size as well. I mean, how long are your arms? Some people need to go closer. You know, someone 5 foot or under possibly needs to be pretty close. But someone maybe like 6-7 feet tall, you're gonna go a lot wider because you're gonna have that range of motion. Another thing is the underhand grip. You do the underhand grip in different variations. It's also going to target the lower lat as well. So it's just, it ends up giving you a different squeeze each grip. So some people are more able to target lower lat or mid lat with the overhand versus the underhand. For me, I prefer an underhand if I'm going to be targeting the lower lat. All right. Other necessities that I need to have in the gym. Music. I don't care if I'm videoing or not or doing whatever, if I'm even training somebody else. I've got to have music in my ears because it just pushes me through and it allows me to get into another world to where I'm not really thinking about the repetitions. The more you think about the repetitions, the more it gets to you and you start doubting yourself. You start doubting, oh, if I'm doing 225, I could only do it 10 times. But in reality, if you get into another world, you could do it as many times as you want. Another thing, gotta have the secret sauce. It's all in the juice, baby. Straps. Lifting straps on a back day, definite necessity. Muscle icon bag. Muscle icon. Go get your gear, be Wolf, use my code, 10% off. Alright, so we're going to be doing a superset here. We'll be here on this row machine. You're braced on your stomach or chest, however tall you are. It's not really adjustable, so it just really depends on your size, really. But we're going to do this. It's going to be targeting our mid to upper traps, as well as some rhomboids. And then we're going to superset with this. which is actually a chest press machine. But the way that I like to use it, it works so well with you doing the upper mid trap as well. So I'll show you each one. Now let's just break them down first for you. All right, so here it's really gonna depend on how comfortable you are on this thing. Sometimes if I brace my stomach into it, it kind of takes the breath away from me. So, and it really doesn't matter what range you're going for. A lot of people say, oh, you have to be leaned up against it or you have to be a certain way, but it really all just depends on how your body conforms to the machine. So I'm gonna go with an overhand, wider grip on here. When I lift off, I like to have my chest up, and I like to be pulled back off of it, so that way it takes away from pushing my stomach all the way against it. So I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna pull straight back, and when I'm pulling through my elbows. So now a lot of people wouldn't understand, well, what do you mean? You're using your hands. It's like, okay, yes, I'm using my hands as a grip, I'm gripping it, but what I'm really doing is I'm going to allow my elbow to bend and flex as I drive back. So I'm not necessarily pulling from here up, otherwise it would be very straight. I'm going to allow basically my elbow joint to move freely as I drive back. And as I'm pulling back, I like to pull with a little bit wider pull on the elbows. All right, so this one here, basically be facing the opposite direction as what you should be laying down on here. And I like to position the bars slightly behind me on the back side of my leg as I grip here. And the grip's gonna depend on how tall you are, how long your arms are. I am able to go to the most narrow part of the grip. So I pull up and I'm going to lean slightly forward. And then people would just start doing this, but what you're doing is you're gonna pull up and back as you pull. So the elbows you're gonna allow the elbows to bend. So you're pulling up as if you were doing a shrug, but you're gonna allow the elbows to bend as if you were doing a row. Reps, it's gonna just depend on you. Like, these are my feeler sets. I just put on a weight just to see, okay, do I feel like I could put on more? How much more can I put on? A little bit more, a 25, a 45. So I usually will do 2 because maybe I get overzealous. Maybe I put on 2 45s and I'm like, fuck, this is really heavy. And I can't even finish the amount of reps that I want to finish, whether it's 8 to 12 or 12 to 15. Basically, I like to go between a 12 to 15 rep range. Sometimes I'll go a little bit heavier, which I'll go maybe like an 8 to a 12. But if I'm not feeling a consistent contraction the whole movement, I don't count that as a repetition. So once I start to feel that actual contraction, the pump, the squeeze, then that's when I'll be like, okay, now I'm starting. Even though I already did 5, I didn't feel those 5. So now I'm feeling it. Now I'm gonna bust out my 10, 12, 15 reps. So another thing what I mentioned about this is your breathing. That's one big thing in lifting as well. Control your breathing. So you want to breathe in, get that breath to do that rep, and then blow it out. But you want to keep a good tempo too, and that goes as well as lifting. You want to keep a nice, good tempo, nice, good pace. If you're just 1 rep, drop it. 1 rep, drop it, 1 rep, drop it. You're no longer filling it up. It's basically like each time you're doing a repetition, you're blowing up a balloon. You're blowing it up, you're blowing it up, you're blowing it up. Well, what happens when you're holding it pinched and there's a little hole letting the air out? You're blowing it up, it blows up, but it's letting air out because now you've stopped your rep. So now you blow it up, blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. All of a sudden your muscle's expanding just like that balloon would, and it's staying full. That is the whole point of doing the exercise, is to expand the muscle fibers to keep it full. Now there's no problem at the end of this to stretch out all the way, to really stretch out the back. There's no problem with that at all. I like to stretch while I work out all the time. But also shout out to Muscle Icon once again. We have a show coming up. We're about 10.5 weeks out, right? Mm-hmm. So my brother here, he'll be competing in it as well. He'll be doing classic physique. I'll be doing the open bodybuilding. Yeah, August 6th, go sign up and be a part of it. It's been a very cool experience since I started with Muscle Icon. Experiencing other shows as far as the Tahoe show, the Governor's Cup. I'm not saying anything bad about them. It's just the camaraderie, the feeling of brotherhood was really there for Muscle Icon. Like, I didn't feel a negative atmosphere at all. The other shows somewhat felt rushed, and you just didn't really feel like you're a part of it. You were just a number there. Versus Muscle Icon, I felt like I was an individual waiting to be cherished. So it was a really, really cool experience, and it made me want to put on a show even more. And it made you feel like they wanted more from you too. So that was a cool experience.
And it's also for a good cause.
Also for a good cause, yes. And if you were wondering why I'm so fucking red and dark right now, we got a new boat. It's been really good family time, been going out with the brother, kids, everybody. So it's been nice. We went out maybe 3-4 times now, and getting hella sun. Last time we forgot the sunscreen, so this happened. But it's been a bunch of fun.
Sheen, why did you think it would be a good workout for the back since it's a chest press?
So I can use basically any machine, well, not any machine because some are built specifically, but I kind of MacGyver things sometimes. Like, I looked at this and I thought, it's an upward motion, but it's also it kind of goes back in motion as if you were going to be doing a barbell shrug behind the back. So with not really being stuck on the barbell, the way that this moved allowed me to move in a better system, and I felt better engagement using this than using a barbell. So I tried it. I looked at it and I think that can work, and then I tried it, and then once I tried it I was like, wow, this is actually really effective, and it's actually engaging it more than what a trap workout is supposed to be. So I just kind of went with it, and I'll do that for, like I said, I'll do it with other multiple machines or even free weights. You got to be creative. Like I said from the beginning, you got to think before your movements. Stop just trying to come in here and muscle weight around. Actually think about the process. Like what I'm thinking about now is I want my feet planted. I want to be in a good width position. Basically, I got to straddle this seat anyways. but I want to also be placed, see, like right here, I'm leaning back. I want to be able to, so now I got to step back so I can lean forward. So that way when I'm forward, I can drive back and up at the same time. And all I'm thinking about here is pulling back and squeezing up. Now, the drive of my elbows is just to go straight back. I'm not trying to drive them out, I'm trying to keep them straight back. A free weight row machine here. So we're going to be doing here because there's no back machine that is a neutral grip, and that's what I want to do. I use these handles, tuck around here, basically MacGyvering again, and I'm going to isolate one side at a time. My target here is I want to stay in the range to squeeze my lat, as well as I can pull in and get my mid trap. As you can see, when I'm doing this row movement, I'm dropping the elbow down. So I'm coming back and dropping the elbow as low as I can, and I may be exaggerating and moving with it, but even though I'm doing that movement, I'm still feeling the contraction. I'm still getting a better squeeze. So just because people are moving while they're doing their reps doesn't mean that they're not doing it properly. It's just maybe their body type feels it at a different part of that range of motion. So for me to be able to target the whole thing, I need to stay in a shorter range, but also be able to squeeze back further. So that was my feeler. All I did was I isolated each side first. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna isolate each side first, and then I'm gonna double. So with this here, you can see I'm not fully placed against this pad. Yes, its purpose is to brace yourself, but as long as you're braced in a fixed position at the angle that you want, there's no problem with leaning off the pad. And also, you should be bracing yourself with your core while you're working out anyways. So I could even be off this pad and just be bracing myself. As long as I'm not moving as I'm contracting back, as long as I'll stop my body movement. So if I angle this way, as long as I stay in this angle as I pull back, I'll still get the contraction that I want. As long as I'm not coming forward and then coming all the way back and thinking that that's a repetition. It's not a repetition, that's just moving your body. All right, so we're gonna do another superset here. We're going to be going for lower lat connection, as well as mid lat too. So we're going to do an underhand grip. There's really no particular reason why I chose this angle bar, but I just felt like I could put my hands in this angle here, and that this angle will allow me to come back further. So if I had a straight bar, I'd only be able to stop at the position of the bar because it would hit me. So if it's curved inward, I may be able to get a little bit deeper contraction. So from here, so this is a perfect example of getting set. I'm gonna set my feet, right? Okay, so I want to get my feet set. I want to position my chest high. I'm gonna arch my back. I'm gonna slightly lean my chest forward, and I'm gonna pull back. Now when you're doing this, you want to try and pull as low as possible. So basically above the pubic area or whatever, underneath the belly button. Just to get that nice tight squeeze. And then we're going to move on over here. So we're going to use this lat pull down here. But what I want to do is I want to go behind the head. Now I like to sit backwards in the chair. Because when you sit forward, you have to think about the angle of the machine too. This machine is meant to come straight down. So if I sit this way, I'm gonna be pulling it straight down in front of me. If I try to pull it backwards, I'm basically gonna be working my rear delts, and that's not what I'm going for. I'm trying to contract through my lats. So if I turn around here, the angle is already gonna be behind my head. I like to slightly lean forward and then pull back.
What about on this machine? Why would you do underhand?
You could do overhand as well, but when I do overhand, that's going to make me contract basically rear delts, trap, rhomboid area. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go for the lower lat in this instance. So going underhand allows me to drop lower. So if you're overhand, your elbows come up. Remember, it's all about the drive with the elbow. So when I come down and underneath, now my elbows drop lower, which allows me to pull back at a lower angle, which allows me to contract the lower lat a lot better. So, and then it's all about your height and everything, how long your arms are. But typically going wider is going to cause you to engage the rear delts. So I'm trying to do a back workout, I'm trying to engage my lats. So that's the choice of this exercise, as well as the pull down behind the head. This is the good part right here. This is why you need the straps. So we're going to be doing some rack pulls over deadlifts. I don't really care. You could do either one. To me, this is just my personal preference. I'm just looking to engage the lower back, squeeze my lats, squeeze my whole back when I come up into contraction. So when we're doing these rack pulls, we're going to be coming up, but as we come up, we're going to allow our elbows to run free and come back. So then we come back and squeeze back. Squeeze and pull. So that way you can pull the whole pull back together. This has been good for some thick back development. ground up. Important, lifting belts. Helps give you stability, helps keep that waist tight too, so you're not getting all blown out. A lot of people getting big old guts and, you know, ego in and I don't need a belt. Well, just use a fucking belt, man. It's not gonna hurt you. Coming together 10.5 weeks out. We'll be ready. We'll be ready. Lat pullover. Use the ropes here. It just allows me to get a different range. So from here, I'm going to position myself back to where there's already tension on the cable here. So that way when I set up, I'm going to exaggerate my ass sticking out, but really I'm putting my chest up and I'm arching my back. So then when I come down, I'm going to be pulling down through the elbow, but it's going to be an arced angle. So it's not just me coming straight back. So I'm not just coming straight back like this. What I'm doing is I'm going to be coming down and back. Same with the rest of the range of motions. Make sure when you come up, grab before you swing back. Don't just come up and lose the connection. You want to come up with the connection grab, and then pull that down. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap up the back details for us. Hope you guys got some good information and kind of some of the wolf mentality, what goes on in my head and my thought process when I'm doing things. You know, because you guys might get curious of, well, how do you look like that? Well, I'm on another level now, so it's like you gotta level yourself up. If it's something that you want to do, you gotta start learning it, and you gotta start learning the details of it. You can't just think, I'm just coming in and doing a back workout and every back exercise is just a back workout. No, each back exercise is working a different part of the back. So once I started to break down everything, it really took me to the next level as well. But that also comes along with your food, sleep, everything else goes along with it too. So I hope you guys got some good information on this video. Me and my brother are about to do some cardio and get the hell out of here and eat.